There's a man in the NFL today by the name of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was once thought of as potentially not a quarterback prospect. But after last season, seeing the MVP season he had, we all know that it is very obvious he is a quarterback. Now, Lamar Jackson ran the ball 176 times last year. He had 9 fumbles in the season, but only one of those fumbles actually came when he was running the ball in the open field. So when he's running the ball, he doesn't fumble the ball very often. So that made me take the question, well, how would this work in Madden? If I scramble with my quarterback a ton in Madden, if I scramble with Lamar Jackson the same amount as he did last season, what will the result be? So I went back and I looked at Lamar Jackson's all his runs from last season, and in all his runs, he seemed to be about half the time either running out of bounds and keeping himself safe, or half the time taking a hit. So out of 176 attempts, I deemed that he'd have about 12 carries on average because he played in 15 games last season. So half of those carries would be rushes where he gets tackled. So in every game for the Baltimore Ravens season, I ran the ball with Lamar Jackson 6 times to see how often me running with him would result in a fumble. And the results really weren't that surprising for me. But there's a few things to note here. I played every game I played on the All Madden simulation game style, so it is EA's way of making the gameplay accurate to how the real NFL should play. And I didn't play the whole games because that would have taken forever, but I played all 6 of the carries that I needed to complete all the games. And let's see, is there anything else here? Oh, Lamar Jackson's carrying rating at the beginning of this, with what EA had him rated at, was 71 carrying. 71 carrying seems awfully low for how often this guy gets tackled and doesn't fumble. It seems like Lamar Jackson's carrying would need to be raised up to more accurately represent his play style, but that's besides the point for now, because I've made it to week 15 to show you that I've played all these games actually. And actually here at the end of the season, I started actually breaking off some long runs, so I threw them into the game. Counted that one as a tackle, even though he was pushed out of bounds, he was tackled, so I figured that one was okay. And then once again here, I'm able to get up the sideline against Cleveland. Pretty big run. And the last game of the season is against Pittsburgh in Baltimore. Snowing here, kind of fun. And I'm able to get outside at the beginning of the game and get up the field, and I get a huge gain here. But I probably could have scored here, but I almost let myself get tackled because I needed to meet those goals. So now, here is the stats at the end of the season. Apparently I can't find my way to stats, but here are the stats. I go into player stats, I look at rushing, and here for Lamar Jackson, the attempts, the yards don't really matter. The key here is fumbles. And I can't find fumbles. But if you look under the fumble category, right there, he has fumbled 30 times. So in Madden's simulation game style, where you're supposed to get realistic gameplay, I would say Lamar Jackson carrying the ball the same amount of times he did in real life to how he did in Madden. Well, he should have fumbled in the open field because that's when he was fumbling in Madden. 1 to 30 is a huge jump. However, I was playing on All Madden, so they want to make it a little more difficult. Maybe you could say 5, 6 fumbles when he gets tackled. That wouldn't be too drastic of a change. But 30 is astronomical, and it doesn't seem to make sense. But here, I gave Madden the benefit of the doubt, because Lamar Jackson's 71 carrying rating isn't similar to other running backs. I found that Miles Sanders had a similar amount of attempts, and he had 2 fumbles last season, so I figured, well, Miles Sanders' carrying rating is an 87, so if I give Lamar Jackson an 87 carrying rating, let's see how that goes in a game. So the only difference is here is that I only played one game to get my goal, and I played the entire offensive snaps all by myself, and with the obvious change in the carrying rate. This time, Lamar Jackson carried the ball 60 times and only fumbled 9 times, but that's still way higher than the what we saw last season, and even then I felt like that game was a little strange. So I decided with that in mind, let's still try another set of rushing attempts with Lamar Jackson being tackled, this time with a 99 carrying rating to really test Madden out. Something about the last few games felt a little fishy to me. The last game that I played with the 87 carrying rating, I had been running designed quarterback runs. So I decided this game, instead of running designed quarterbacks runs, where it seemed like he was fumbling less, let me only scramble with Lamar 99 carrying out of actual passing plays. So I did it here for a whole game, and here's what the results were. While doing this, I played no defense, so as you can see, I managed to lose to the Broncos 118-0, and carried the ball with Lamar Jackson 41 times, fumbling 30 of them. I don't even think I could have tried to do that on purpose. But even at this point, I managed to tell myself, no, this maybe I'm giving Madden the wrong look. So here you can see I took Lamar's carrying rating and I moved it back down to where it was at 71. So now, deciding that he's been playing quarterback the entire time, I decided to put him at halfback for a game and run him as much as I could. And he's an 88 overall at halfback, surprisingly. So now we have Lamar Jackson playing halfback instead of quarterback, and he is back at the carrying rating of 71, which is probably too low of a rating to actually give him for what his real carrying rating would be in real life, considering his success running the ball last season. And we got to see what our results were here too. And actually, by running the ball with running backs instead of with the quarterback, I actually managed to keep this game close, which I had no intention of doing. Fell to the Giants 24-21, but here are the stats from Lamar Jackson running the ball as a running back. He carried the ball 65 times and only fumbled twice. So, to recap, Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, over a period of a season, fumbled 30 times out of 96 carries we gave him. We then upgraded his carrying to a 87 overall rating, which more accurately represented his carrying ability according to other players with similar statistic marks from last season, which was Miles Sanders as our comparison. And he only fumbled 9 out of 60 carries that he had. Then we upgraded his carrying to 99 to see if his carrying really made any difference, but he still managed to fumble 30 out of 41 times with 99 carrying at the quarterback position when he carried the ball 41 times in the game, fumbled 30 times. Incredible, right? But then, when we move him back to halfback and give him an original carrying rating of 71, he only fumbles twice on 65 carries. And really what the key thing to think about here is why would EA and the Madden developers decide that on the simulation game style, the carrying rating would be completely disregarded when this is the mode or the game style that's supposed to give accurate NFL gameplay? I completely understand if you're looking at it in a competitive scene, which they have a game style for competitive, where your quarterback fumbles if you take too many hits with him, because in that, there's no risk of injury. But quarterbacks slide in the NFL or run out of bounds to avoid injury. There's no fumbling issue innately just by playing the quarterback position. And it's very silly to even think there is or make it so that there is in a Madden game. And it definitely shouldn't be in the sim game style. So if they want to keep that in the competitive game, it makes sense. But next season, I definitely think that should be updated for the sim game style. And it just shows with the numbers. I mean, they don't make any sense. The guy fumbled one time last season on 176 carries. and with a 99 carrying rating on 41 attempts, I managed to have him fumble 30 times. 30 times. That's just ridiculous.
So, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching.
2020 president candidate.